Fear, anxiety, and worry. All justifiable reasons for the absence of action. We don't act when we feel fear because we're uncertain of the outcome. But to exist within uncertainty is to be alive. Life is uncertainty. To believe that you're a person expresses some doubt. We don't know what is not currently knowable. We don't know what we don't know. One must truly come to realize that they've only been working with part of the puzzle. However, what we can piece together is valuable nonetheless. And the value in something like this can be perceived and attained without knowing the full extent or knowing and understanding the full extent of this valuable something. Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you believe that fear is irrational?
I think it can be, but I think a lot of times it's just because of, it's like an evolutionary advantageous trait.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit further?
Because you said fear?
Yes.
Okay. Because fears are just fears. People blow them way out of proportion and they make them a big deal when it's really not.
Do you think we fear irrationally?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Wait, rational
Do I think-
or irrational?
I think there are definitely some fears that are rational. But I think we as humans need to exercise control over everything that we do. And that's why sometimes you fear irrationally, because you know that you can't control like certain circumstances. And also a lot of people, well, no, everyone fears what they don't understand. And so if you don't understand something irrational, then you're probably going to fear that irrational thing.
Do we fear irrationally? I don't think so, because it very much depends on the situation. I feel like if it's a very serious situation, being held at gunpoint, stuff like that, I feel like my fear is rational. However, a spider, I mean, there's ways you can get over it, but it doesn't mean it's irrational to say. I think rational or irrational is somebody's perspective, so therefore, no.
We can love without fully knowing other people. And we can also love ourselves without fully knowing ourselves. Because we never truly do know ourselves. The self is like something you constantly are trying to find. And I feel like that's the whole point of existence. But regardless of that, things like anxiety are still prevalent. And anxiety, I feel, isn't discomfort with uncertainty. It's certainty of the discomforts of life. It's like having an image of what you think will happen and assuming how this type of change will occur. But anxiousness is both chemical and mental. But are these truly like different things? I think the reaction is chemical. However, it's greatly influenced by how we are mentally. We are similar to our predecessors in that we seek out issue in every situation. In modern day culture, do you think that anxiety has a real purpose?
I think anxiety is just a way that our fears from the past that like were legitimate kind of manifest themselves in ways that are a little less rational. Like I struggle with anxiety, and I know like other people with anxiety who are worrying about paying bills and stuff like that. Like, not that that's like an anxiety thing, but people who are like afraid of stuff like paying bills. That's clearly not a problem you would have back when the brain was like first developing fear. That wasn't the goal. But like with my anxiety and stuff like that, some of the thoughts I get aren't rational, I guess. The fears I have aren't rational. Like when you really sit down and think of it logically, but that doesn't change the way I feel. So,
What is the purpose of anxiety? I think, what is the purpose of anxiety?
Is there a purpose?
I don't think anxiety has like a specific purpose. Like I don't think people are like using anxiety in some sort of like beneficial way. I just think it's something that happens to I think it's something that happens to a lot of people. People suffer from anxiety. There's definitely like plenty of like root causes for it, but I don't think it has like one sole purpose, to say the least.
The purpose of anxiety? I feel like anxiety isn't really a purpose, it's something that people have.
There's not really a purpose for anxiety. It's a feeling that we have. We can't really control it. It kind of just comes naturally. So I don't see a purpose really. Just the thing that happens. You get anxious.
And the only issue in this sense, or doing it nowadays, is we're seeking issue in the mundane. We're seeking issue in things that don't have inherent issues. But this is no conscious feat of ourselves. We too are victims to life. And to kind of escape that sort of reality, we have to somewhat take a look at life with an unanalytical eye. We need to try to focus on being the eye instead of the observer, to truly see what's in front of us. At some points, we trap ourselves as this observer and experience life as we feel we should. And the self is far deeper than that. We can easily observe like life and assume that we're the observer. Like these emotions, this mental image, my mind, I'm the thing experiencing it. But on a realer scale, to like be able to analyze your own feelings and thoughts, you have to be something outside of that. You have to be the thing analyzing the feelings. So what I think is we are like the observer observing the observer. We are somewhere in like the back of the mind. So do you think that you can overcome irrational thought processes?
Yes, I think personally, even though I do have like irrational anxieties, I'm able to overcome it and go through my day. I think for some it may be harder than others, but I think there's a lot of different ways to go about dealing with it. There's therapy, there's medication, there's ways to help, but the fight looks different for everybody. So
I think we can, with a lot of self-work and thought. You know, when you take the time to figure out what's wrong with yourself.
What is self-work?
You know, I'm not trying to get all spiritual and stuff, but you know, like meditate. I guess I'm not into that, but like I have a friend who is, and she meditates and she journals and stuff and she works through her problems. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. With enough, well, not with enough, but I think there are ways that you can overcome irrational thought process. This is my question. I think, I think it's different for every irrational like fear that you have. There's definitely going to be a different process to overcome that, but I don't think it's impossible to overcome that. Like I am deathly afraid of spiders. Some may see that irrationally because some may not be afraid of spiders. But there's definitely like methods that you could take to overcome that irrational fear just to.
And like something similar to anxiety, I think, is worry. And I think worry is like similar to fear in a way because of the uncertainty, but it's also like similar to anxiety because we think we know parts to be true and negative. In saying this, I think we often misaccuse and misidentify the causes of these fears in our issues. It's like how we have a fear of heights, but in reality, it's the ground that kills you. It is our anxiety that makes the situation bad at most times. We need to relax ourselves and be like unimpacted by these mundane tribulations. The more we allow ourselves to be more fluid and allow our character to adapt and fit to every situation, the less impacted we are going to be by things that kind of throw us astray.